Yuck! Smell it again! That's disgusting!
That's my ass!
Who's driving? It's over 9. What? Trap car!
Additional.
Use the boots to get it!
No.
Huh? What the f?
Hello again, everyone. This is Bionic Slime. I am your online voice for reviews of your choice. This is BS Reviews. Today, we take a look at the raunchy, comedic romance film, She's Out of My League. Now, as you can tell by my upcoming movie reviews list on YouTube, I really wasn't intended on checking this movie out or doing a review for it. I had other things in mind, other things to spend my money on. But I thought about it and circumstances kind of changed, so I decided to see this movie anyway, and I have to say, I'm quite glad that I did. She's Out of My League is brought by Paramount Pictures and was directed by Jim Field Smith. It was written by Sean Anders and John Morris. It stars Jay Baruchel as Kirk, Alice Eve as Molly, T.J. Miller as Stainer, Mike Vogel as Jack, Nate Torrence as Devin, Lindsay Sloane as Marnie, and Krysten Ritter as Patty. The plot of She's Out of My League. Kirk is a down-and-out, pretty much hopeless loser who basically has had shit luck in relationships, in life, and in general, and is working with his three best friends, Stainer, Jack, and Devin, at airport security. He's basically told constantly by his family and his friends that his life's a total crapper, and that after his relationship breakup with Marnie, he's pretty much got nothing left to look for in love. That all changes when a beautiful, sexy woman named Molly accidentally loses her cell phone at the airport. When Kirk finds it, she wants to thank him by going out with him. Kirk soon finds out that Molly is actually really much into him, and despite the constant doubts and protests from Kirk's family and his friends, Molly really seems to like Kirk. But Kirk is wondering, what is a beautiful, gorgeous girl like Molly doing with a loser like him? And review the plot. Jay Baruchel is definitely gaining some major popularity. He's been showing up a lot more in films, like in supporting roles in Tropic Thunder, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, and is even in a big up-and-coming film by Disney, The Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's amazing how fast this guy has pretty much climbed, and it's very gratifying to see that this guy is finally getting his dues and put as a main star in this film. Speaking of which, the whole thing that this movie pretty much relies on is the whole notion of what the poster says. How can a 10 go for a 5? How could a gorgeous girl go for a loser? This is a really smart move in my opinion, because the thing that's keeping this movie from turning into another cliche raunchy comedy is the fact that the aspect of the film is focused heavily on the fact that a hot girl cannot go for a guy like this. There have been many movies that have had beautiful women going out with loser guys, and a lot of people have complained that those films are cliche, naive, and completely unbelievable. What I think makes it work in this film is that the movie never leaves that aspect alone. It's constantly brought up, and it's pretty much the whole story is the understanding of how could a girl like this go for a guy like him. And it's a really smart move because it shows you a easy, relatable subject that a lot of guys in the theaters can connect with. And it's also very interesting because people always assume that beautiful people have to go with other beautiful people. And it's really fun to see not only that a woman so gorgeous is going for a guy like this, but to make it funny and interesting and to make it more focused heavily on that aspect. It was a wise choice in my opinion, because it makes the relationship easy to relate to, much more compassionate in your sympathy for Kirk and for Molly, and much more humorous, as they never seem to find a way to ruin the joke that this is a geek going out with a hot girl. They always find a way to make it funny, witty and romantic at the same time. And I really give them credit for sticking their guns with that story aspect, because to me it was a wise story choice in my opinion. Review of the characters. As I said, Jay Baruchel is definitely a big and up-and-coming star, and it's so nice to finally see him getting the leading role because he really makes good use of it. He's actually a very, very funny and very talented actor. People may write him off or seem like he's just become some sort of Michael Cera who just plays himself on every film, but I think he brings a sense of honesty and genuine geek humor to his roles, and it fits perfectly with this because that's what this whole movie's all about. He has great timing, great delivery, and he's actually got some great body language in terms of his aspect of physical humor. And Alice Eve is a very, very gorgeous woman. They waste no effort in making her look like the beautiful angel from heaven or something like that. They really make her look hot and gorgeous, and she's actually pretty funny. I didn't think she was as effective as I've seen in other past movies like this, like say Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. But I was impressed with what she did, and I think she really made the character her own and really gave a good effort towards her performance. By far the best, though, has to go to T.J. Miller, who, ironically enough, is starring again with co-star Mike Vogel, who they both appeared in Cloverfield, which has struck me as really freaking weird. T.J. Miller was funny in Cloverfield, and he's even funnier in here. I mean, he's hilarious as the character Stainer. He always has some good lines, some good delivery, and he never gets boring or tiresome or seems like the overly, funny kind of asshole kind of best friend. He actually seems like a genuine best friend, but at the same time still manages to give that sense of friendship and humor that you need to balance out with both film. Nate Torrence was really funny in here, who I remember from Get Smart. I mean, he's kind of a weird-looking guy, but he really fits the role here, and he has some great lines in this film that I think really just come off with his natural appearance just so perfectly. Lindsay Sloane was very amusing as Marnie. Very, angry, bitter, scornful, kind of the nasty, hateful ex-girlfriend kind of thing, which again appears in a lot of these kind of movies, but she made it not only hateful but funny at the same time. I gotta give my props to Krysten Ritter, who was just hilarious as the friend Patty. I mean, again, another person who has just great lines and just great performance with it. And I was really surprised to see Debra Jo Rupp, Kitty from freaking That 70s Show, in here as Kirk's mother, who was really funny in here. I mean, the whole family is freaking hilarious. They're complete and total douchebags, but they keep making it funny and raunchy, that it's not too simple, not too dumbed down, not too boring. It's always fresh, funny, and in your face, and it just really works so well together. I was very impressed with that. Review the cinematography and the music. Music was really good. It didn't fall too much into the cliches of, teenage or comedy stories, and it used good songs that really seemed to fit the mood and just made the movie go along so much more effectively. It worked very well together. Same with the cinematography. You get a lot of interesting, amusing shots, like of the airport, like of the four guys sitting on the luggage system thing. It was just funny, and it just looks great. I mean, you really get the mood of every scene from the way the camera shoots it, and this movie has some really good, interesting ups and downs from the emotional aspect and from the humor aspect. So it's not just, dick and fart jokes or anything. It's a really well put together story that just looks great all together. That's the thing that really works about this film. It's a really good, complete film. Nothing really feels out of place or stupid or anything. Well, I shouldn't say anything, which brings us to flaws about the film. This movie has a couple things that were put in there that either didn't go anywhere with it or just didn't feel like it belonged. Like, for example, there's this one scene involving a dog licking Kirk's pants, involving a sexual thing that I won't explain. You have to see the movie for it. And it presented itself in just a real sloppy manner. Like, it was like resorting back to Three Stooges slapstick humor. This movie didn't really need to have that in there. I mean, it just seemed kind of thrown in, like it just didn't fit with the sense of humor of the rest of the film. Another problem I had was Nate Torrance's character gets mentioning this one joke, running gag, that he's married in that and how he wants to date other women, but it doesn't really go anywhere, and it kind of leaves you hanging, along with some of Kirk's other best friends. It's not as noticeable as with Nate Torrance's character, Devin, but it is something that I noticed that they kind of left out, and it didn't really ruin the story, but it would have made it a little bit more complete had they finished the rounds with that. I mean, T.J. Miller's character Stainer, and they all got good wrap-ups, even with the bitch girlfriend, Lindsay Sloane as Marnie. But all in all, the other guys could have used a little bit more finishing time to wrap everything up more effectively. Final wrap-up, She's Out of My League suffers from a couple jokes that really didn't feel like it belonged there, like the dog thing and the thing going on with the marriage relationship, Nate Torrance's Devin. Some of the characters could have used a little more polishing touches to finish them off. But all in all, this is a very nice movie that just surprised me with some excellent humor, great performances, and a superb story that stuck to the one aspect that made it work so well. The whole concept of having this hot girl go for the geek guy was the perfect thing to focus on. It was the best focal point of the film, and it's what really made the movie come together for me. Jay Baruchel is hilarious and funny. I really hope he does more. I loved Alice Eve, gorgeous woman. T.J. Miller, excellent in this film. So is Lindsay Sloane, and Krysten Ritter as Patty. You got a nice set of characters here. It's shot together well. Great humor, great dialogue. I was really impressed with this movie. So much more surprised than I ever would have expected. Bottom line, I gave She's Out of My League 3 stars and a half out of 5 stars. Well, that's all for now. This has been Bionic Slime for BS Reviews. Thank you all for listening, and goodbye for now.